Wekiva reminds me of what I knew of Florida many, many years ago. It's just the habitat that you have to love. It's the bear, the deer, and the river itself, free-flowing water, and the wonderful people who are all involved in protecting the Wekiva River. This is the real Florida.
This is peaceful. I mean, within just moments of walking up, we heard a woodpecker. You can hear pig frogs. It sounds like nature. Oh, there's a limpkin crying. The Wekiva River system, the wild and scenic designation covers the tributaries of Blackwater Creek and Rock Spring Run, as well as the Wekiva River. So with all of that, it kind of creates a nice little corridor for some of our animals. Within 20 miles of the Wekiva River system, there are over 2 million people. So it really is a little oasis among the populated areas of Orlando. We're very fortunate in that a lot of the surrounding area is protected by public land. So we have lots of county parks and state parks and Seminole State Forests that are all around the area. And it provides habitat. So we have all of these native plants and communities that are in this area that can provide food and shelter for migratory species as well as species that spend their whole life in the basin.
We always talk about basin-wide or system. It's all together, and every part of that system is important to the river. And of course, we know our spring shed goes beyond the public properties, so we get to interact with the cities. Our committee is made up of 3 counties, 3 cities, and the surrounding areas.
The Wekiva Wild and Scenic designation was originally promoted by the first president of the Wekiva Wilderness Trust, Dave Sukert, and he got the idea that the Wekiva should be a wild and scenic river. He contacted then Congressman Bill McCollum, and he got the ball rolling. He contacted Friends of the Wekiva. He contacted me as the Aquatic Preserve Manager. At the time the designation was proposed, there were a number of existing managers throughout the Wekiva Basin. The Florida Park Service managed the Wekiva Basin State Parks. The Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services managed Seminole State Forest. The Aquatic Preserve Program managed the Aquatic Preserve, and there are also several county parks.
All of the environmental groups within the basin were meeting on a regular basis, and we had certain things that we were concerned about, like the construction of a new roadway that would cross the river, and there was a proposal to have 2 bridges instead of a single bridge. And we got to meet together and enjoy our company.
Congress authorized that a study be done on the segments that would be designated. And they looked at all the various segments, Rock Springs Run, Wekiva River, Blackwater Creek, and they determined which segments would be appropriate for the wild and scenic designation.
My predecessor, Joe Cooley, was actually behind writing the study, and he worked very hard for the Park Service to make that happen. And it was a great, well-done study with the partners, which would become the Federal Advisory Committee. And then that moved it forward to the designation process. We are eligible.
Probably most of the people who worked on the legislation and the report, there probably weren't more than 4 to 6. So you need that dedicated core group. The rest of the organization was supportive and would help any way they could. But that 4 to 6 are the ones who made all the trips to Tallahassee and organized the visits to the county commissions and meeting with legislatures and with the agencies.
We always require that all the local jurisdictions that are involved in a partnership river designation support the designation through formal means, a vote of a city council or town meeting in New England traditionally, or other means, because we know that the National Park Service has very limited jurisdiction as a federal agency, and we're not going to own the land. So how are we going to achieve this big vision of river protection if we don't have the buy-in of the local jurisdictions and all the key partners? So they need to be on board. That's what it's really about, and establishing that common vision. And those are the outstandingly remarkable values, what's special about the river, and then what do you want to do to protect those? You're wrestling with all those questions to do eligibility and suitability for a wild and scenic river. And that is the time to put it down on paper in terms of a management plan for the river. And then you have something in writing as well that can inform that suitability determination, ensure that local support is solid at the same time. But I think partnership rivers can really conform to the local setting, which is why it's proven popular with rivers and with members of Congress too. For the system and for Partnership Wild and Scenic Rivers, the Wekiva is important because it was the first time the model was embraced outside of the Northeast region. So that was big for our program, and continues to be big for the program.
One thing that I think is really important and unique about the partnership designation is that it set up the groundwork for collaboration between all the stakeholders, because there was a lot of protections already in place, but most of those are run by a single entity, a state agency or a county or a city, so that you're always coming together and sharing ideas. And over the course of 20 some odd years, you kind of get into the habit of working together, and those collaborations become more and more natural, and it is a really good time for everyone to come together and share what they're doing in the projects and where the needs are too.
Rivers, like any living thing, change constantly with every storm, with every day it changes. The value that this river system, this river basin brings to our community, to our state is economic, the tourist value, the spiritual value. And so people are walking up and down the river with their families, with their dogs and their kids. Try to get every kid I can out in the river. The more people that see it and are exposed to it and get to enjoy it, and the more people that are going to care for it, the better off we're going to be.
One important project that the Advisory Management Committee has done is fund the River Ambassador position. That's a really key aspect of the river system, to have a person out there who's advocating for the river.
I love the Wekiva, so there's always something new to see and discover and learn on the river. So I focus on providing a variety of activities for people in the basin so that everyone of all varying comfort levels and abilities has an opportunity to come out and enjoy the system in a unique way. See the river and get out on the river possibly for the first time. And we get people from all over the state. Once they've been out one time, they're more confident in their ability to go out again. And it's just beautiful. It's breathtaking. So no matter where you are, there's something different to appreciate and wonder at and learn about.
The partnership model is very important to our Wild and Scenic organization, because it's bringing us to other wild and scenic rivers, and we can learn what they're doing, the activities they're doing. And we're very different because we're a floodplain river fed by springs, and we have this karst foundation that feeds those springs in the sandhills. So we can bring that to the partners, and the partners can tell us about all of the things that they're doing in their projects that they're working on.
So the Wekiva Wild and Scenic River System is the only partnership wild and scenic river in the Southeast. 1/2 of 1% of all rivers are designated National Wild and Scenic. When we have tools to offer some protections and to get funding to any local grassroots effort that really wants to protect the river and river resources, to look into this model, check it out, there's a lot of information online, and to get some technical advice or technical support to help move your project forward, because it's a great model.
We shouldn't lose our interest in trying to not just save, but maintain the health of the river, the whole basin.